I think one of the hard things is there's a lot of folks out there that are proselytizing the way to do things. And I really like to learn from people who are experts in things. That being said, there's just not a playbook for this. It depends so much on, I mean, are we talking about you have a $5 million budget or you have a $100,000 budget? I mean, the playbooks are going to be different for those two things, you know? Are all of your developers in the same place? Are they not? Are you contracting? Are they employed? Like, what are the goals? Where are you releasing? Like all these different things. So, while I loved to learn from lots of people, there are a lot of people out there that are kind of coming to you and being like, that's not how it's done. And that happens in the theater too a lot. And I'm like, I actually don't care. So we're going to do what makes sense for us. And a lot of the things we did, we went to PAX and DreamHack, PAX West. And when we went there, we actually did a live escape room at both of those conventions where I think we packed up about 4,000 envelopes that were all stuffed with other envelopes. We hand stuffed all these with an escape room within them, instructions at our booth. And
Ooh.
on it, we had printed a little phrase that would say, like, to the person in the cool red shirt, to the person with the cool hair, to the person, whatever. And we would stand there and we'd go, oh, excuse me, I think this came for you. And we'd give them this letter that was appropriate to whatever they were wearing.
Mhm.
And, you get handed so much stuff at a convention. But when they'd see it and they'd see a compliment to themselves, I mean, we literally had, like, people were having to crowd control our booth because it was so busy and we're
That's
in this little
awesome.
10 by 10. Next to us is like, these giant multi-million-dollar booths. And here we are in our little tiny booth and we're having to get crowd control because so many people are doing it. And we got a lot of like, I mean, I don't know, that's really just not how it's done or whatever. And we're like, we can't compete with Capcom. It's just never going to happen, right? There's not even a goal of trying to compete with that. And so
It's
what
just two
can
different
we do?
games.
Two
Yeah.
different, yeah, everything is different, right? And so, like, what can we do though with what we
Mhm.
have? And we don't have a live game yet. We have a demo, but and we're traveling, and so we're considering all these things, and we're like, but you know what we are? We're theatrical. We can create a theatrical experience. And so we just often in situations like that, we'd get a lot of like, that's just not really how it's done. And we'd be like, is it against the rules? And it's like, no. Okay, then that's what we're gonna do. And I'm glad we listened to our guts because we've had a lot of success on a lot of fronts, but it can be challenging when you're trying to do something
Yeah.
new and you're getting met with a lot of like, well, why are you doing that?
That's super frustrating. I don't know. It's just, oh, I wouldn't take that. I just, that gets under my skin. I get it, but I'm glad you guys listen to your gut instinct because for me, when Boss Rush are at these events, we keep a keen eye on not just the big players. In fact, I almost never go to the AAA booths, except for like maybe if it's Nintendo and they're showing off like Echoes of Wisdom before it releases. Like other than the like minor exception, I always go out to the indie booths and you can see some of them just have lines just as long maybe or close to it than their larger friends. So I think that's incredibly creative. Was that last year at PAX West?
It
Yeah,
was,
about a year
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
miss
even
PAX
even
West.
things like we just like in the theater, we are really passionate about collaborating with other indies. And there's a lot of often kind of tribalism. Oh no, it's a limited pie. We can't, I don't want to like give you my, whatever. And we're like, oh no, rising tide lifts all ships. Like it
Yeah.
only benefits us to help each other. And thankfully, there are lots of indies who are so on board for that. But it can be hard to figure out, like, I know there are people like us that want to collaborate and want to, like, let me promote your thing. You don't have to do anything in return for me. I just want to help. Those kind of people, they totally exist. But it can be hard to sift through all the stuff to figure out, like, who are those people? How do we find them? How do we connect with them?